argument here in this section that we are reading. Yes, Prabhu. Now, verse yesterday we read the transitioning verse, which was 39. So this is about Sankhya Yoga, Buddhi Yoga. Basically, Krishna is going to speak here. Do your duty without fruitive intention, which is very, 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 very hard for us to give up because fruitive, we have been working in this material world with fruity mentality for millions and billions and I don't know how many number of lifetimes. So it's very hard for us to break that fruity mentality, and the easiest way to do that is to actually start doing things for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord instead of our own sense enjoyment, and that's what we discussed yesterday. So let's continue. Yeah, here Krishna is going to speak more. Yes, Prabhu, go ahead.
Yeah, text 40. Neha नाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पस्य अधर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Purport. Activity in Krishna consciousness or acting for the benefit of Krishna without expectation of sense gratification is the highest transcendental quality of work. Even a small beginning of such activity finds no impediment, nor can that small beginning be lost at any stage. Any work begun on the material plane has to be completed, otherwise, the whole attempt becomes a failure. But any work begun in Krishna consciousness has a permanent effect, even though not finished. The performer of such work is therefore not at a loss, even if his work in Krishna consciousness is incomplete. 1% done in Krishna consciousness bears permanent results, so that the next beginning is from the point of 2%. Whereas in material activity, without 100% success, there is no profit. Ajamila performed his duty in some percentage of Krishna consciousness, but the result he enjoyed at the end was 100% by the grace of the Lord. There is a nice verse in this connection in Srimad Bhagavatam 1:5-17. त्यक्त्वा स्वधर्मां चरणां भुजं हरेर् भज भज यदि तत्र क्वा द्राम अमुष्यति को वा अभजत धर्म. One gives up his occupational duties and works in Krishna consciousness and then falls down on account of not completing his work. What loss is there on this part? And what can one gain if one performs his material activities perfectly? Or, as the Christians say, what profited a man if he gain the whole world yet suffer the loss of his eternal soul? Material activities and their results end with the body, but work in Krishna consciousness a perfect, carries a person again to Krishna consciousness, even after the loss of the body. At least one is sure to have a chance in the next life of being born again as a human being, either in the family of a great cultured Brahmana or in a rich aristocratic family that will give one a further chance for elevation. That is the unique quality of work done in Krishna consciousness.
Very
Very-
good. Yeah, you
Yeah.
want to say something, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. So Krishna is saying here, I mean, we have to do activity or whatever day-to-day activity we do. So that should be without expectation of like a fruitive mentality. I mean, it should be done, I mean, in relation to Krishna. So that is the highest quality of work actually. And Krishna is telling here, if the how, I mean, beneficial the activity done, I mean, in the like mode of devotion is actually, because if one does even a little endeavor in this actually, so it's not going to be waste actually. But on the other hand, the materially one may achieve anything, but until and unless, I mean, so basically it will last till this life only. In the next life, one is not going to get anything. Even one
Mm.
is billionaire, but in next life there is no guarantee he will get anything actually from that. And Krishna is giving here examples of Ajamila. So he did little endeavor, but the benefit he got at the end is like 100% by the grace of the Lord. And in this verse, this is mentioned that, so basically, if one does little bit also devotional service, I mean, and fall down also, so still there is no loss. But on the other hand, if materially one may be 100% successful, but he is not like a devotee or not doing anything devotionally, then it's like a loss of the soul actually, becoming so. So I just want to give examples here. I mean, in Bhagavatam we have a story. So there are great devotees actually. So I mean, Krishna gave those examples are there. They could not complete their bhakti. I mean, but like Gajendra also. So because he was got cursed, he was
Mm.
Indradumna Maharaj. So he was got cursed, but and then because of that he even got a body of elephant, like not a human body, because of the curse. But still what they had done the like this devotion, so they were so Gajendra was a devotee, and that's the reason at the end definitely Krishna personally came actually, when because
Mm.
in need he remembered those prayers he did
Mm.
previous,
Yeah.
and because of that
Mm.
Krishna personally came and I mean took him back to Godhead. So
Mhm. Yeah,
this
Bharat Maharaj, even at the level of Bhava, he fall down and he remembered his previous life in the body of a deer, and then he becomes Jad Bharat, and then finally he goes back to Godhead, right?
right. And
Yeah,
Vakrasura,
Vritrasura, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so in there is this diary, Harisori Prabhu's diary. He would write every day's report and what he has heard and Srila Prabhupada's conversation and all that. So in that one volume two, it says even if one falls down, there is no loss. Krishna is very clever. One may try to leave Krishna, but he is not going to leave you. Krishna will not leave you. Like in Nectar of Instruction, also Krishna's Prabhupada writes in the second text that once we have taken a step towards Krishna, even if we want to leave, he will forcibly drag us to him. And then it says, once you come, he says, no, sir, you cannot go out. Just like Ajamil. He was a devotee in the beginning, but later had bad association of a prostitute and fall down. But Krishna took him in the end. Krishna is so kind that he thought, all right, this rascal is going out of my hands. Give him a child, Narayan. He will chant Narayan Narayan, and that will go to his credit. Even if we don't finish, nothing is lost. That is what Srila Prabhupada says. And in Nectar of Devotion, in the beginning introduction preface, Srila Prabhupada writes there, when what actually saves the devotee? Bhakti rasa, the mellow, relished in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, does not finish with the end of life. That's what we were speaking yesterday, Bhakti Vinod Prabhu, your question, right? That the bhakti, no matter what we have done, that is not going to be lost with the end of this body. It continues perpetually and is therefore called Amrita, that which does not die but exists eternally. Right? Okay, so let's continue. 1 second, let me move the verse. Yeah. So someone wants to read very, very important, wonderful verse, very significant for us, followers of Srila Prabhupada. Someone wants to read?
I
Okay.
can read.
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिर एकेह कुरुनन्दन बहुशाखा हि अनन्तश्च बुद्ध्यो व्यवसायिनां. Translation and purport by His Divinity Sesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. So this path means the previous one, means if we do even one some devotional service. O beloved son of O beloved child of Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. So, meaning if we are not fixed on this one path of devotional service, serving Krishna without sense, our own sense gratification, then we will have many, many things. Our mind will wander into many directions. Purport. A strong faith that by Krishna consciousness one will be elevated to the highest perfection of life is called Vyavasayatmika intelligence. So that faith that we will be elevated to higher perfection by Krishna consciousness. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 2262 states, Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe sorry, श्रद्धा शब्दे विश्वास कहे सुदृढ़ निश्चया कृष्णे भक्ति कैले सर्व कर्म कृतया. Faith means unflinching trust in something sublime. When one is engaged in the duties of Krishna consciousness, he need not act in relationship to the material world with obligations to family traditions, humanity, and nationality. Fruitive activities are the engagements of one's reactions from past good or bad deeds. When one is awake in Krishna consciousness, he need no longer endeavor for good results in his activities. When one is situated in Krishna consciousness, all activities are on the absolute plane, for they are no longer subject to dualities like good and bad. The highest perfection of Krishna consciousness is renunciation of the material conception of life. So this is the line here to be noted. The highest perfection of Krishna consciousness is renunciation of material conception of life. This state is automatically achieved by progressive Krishna consciousness. The resolute, oh, this is a long purport. So I think let me read one more paragraph and then someone else can read. The resolute purpose of a person in Krishna consciousness is based on knowledge. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. A person in Krishna consciousness, a person in Krishna consciousness is the rare good soul who knows perfectly that Vasudev or Krishna is the root of all manifested causes. As by watering the root of a tree, one automatically distributes water to the leaves and branches, so by acting in Krishna consciousness, one can render the highest service to everyone, namely self, family, society, country, humanity, etc. If Krishna is satisfied by one's action, then everyone will be satisfied. Okay, so this verse is speaking about that Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. So if we are not focused on Krishna consciousness, then our mind will be in many, many different paths, it will be divided. So, and that for that, that strong faith has to develop, that how we can have that strong faith that just by doing this one thing, Krishna consciousness, we will attain perfection. This verse, Shraddha Sabde Vishwas Kahe Sudrid Nishchaya Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karam Krithaya. Unflinching faith in that sublime. So, yeah, and then if one is engaged in devotional service of Krishna, then we don't need to go into different directions of fulfilling this need, that need, humanity, nationality, all that. Yeah, and not in productive activities. So, and we don't desire that, oh, it should end in good result. We just do our endeavor because endeavoring only itself. So, there is a Srila Prabhupada's quote. In Krishna consciousness, success or failure, it's same. Just what matter is we are making an effort for something. So when we are in Krishna consciousness, then whatever happens, that is like we don't have to specifically endeavor that, oh, it should, outcome should be like this or that. But because the activity is situated on absolute plane, so then we don't care about that duality of good and bad. Yeah, and this is very, very important here. So that getting um, out of the bodily conception of life. And that will happen only when we practice our sadhana bhakti properly. And the second paragraph, Srila Prabhupada is saying that this resolute thing will come only when we understand that Vasudev Sarvamiti. So meaning everything is coming from the Supreme Lord. Again, that Sambandhigyan, which is very, very important. If we don't have that Sambandhigyan, then it will be difficult. So basically to understand the source, and that Sankhya Yoga also, what happens is we discussed yesterday that finding the root of everything. And in devotional service, we from the scriptures we know that Krishna is anyway, he is the root of everything and worship him. Yeah. Yeah, so that's all. Someone wants to continue, then we can discuss more later. Someone wants to read the rest of the
I
report?
can read. I
Yes,
can read,
Prabhu.
Mataji.
Yes, thank you,
Thank you. Thank you.
Prabhu.
Service in Krishna consciousness is, however, best practiced under the able guidance of a spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Krishna, who knows the nature of the student and who can guide him to act in Krishna consciousness. As such, to be well versed in Krishna consciousness, one has to act firmly and obey the representative of Krishna. And one should accept the instruction of the bona fide master as one's mission in life. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur instructs us in his famous prayers for the spiritual master as follows: Yasha Prasada Bhagavad Prasado Yasha Prasadan Totopi Dayans to one plus Yasasvi Sandhyam Vande Guru Sri Charnaravindam. By satisfaction of the spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes satisfied. And by not satisfying the spiritual master, there is no chance of being promoted to the plane of Krishna consciousness. I should therefore meditate and pray for his mercy 3 times a day and offer my respectful obeisances unto him, my spiritual master. The whole process, however, depends on perfect knowledge of the soul beyond the conception of the body, not theoretically but practically, when there is no longer a chance for sense gratification manifested in fruitive activities. One who is not firmly fixed in mind is diverted by various types of fruitive acts. Hare Krishna. Wow.
Hare Krishna. Yes,
Yes.
Prabhu, you want to say something?
Yes. So very, very instructive. The whole purport
Mm.
is very instructive. This. So the most, first of all, the most important thing is the one needs to practice Krishna consciousness under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, because the spiritual master knows what our tendencies are, in what way we can, what different aspects of spiritual life we are good at, or what kind of services, and we need that guidance. So that is very important. And uh, it, the instruction of the spiritual master, that should be one's mission in life. And we see that practically in the life of Srila Prabhupada. He asked his spiritual master on 3 occasions, and he got the same answer. If you get books, if you get money, publish this book, preach this message to the West. So, and he took that instruction, and he brought that Krishna consciousness to us. And of course, our prayers in the morning in Yasha Prasada Bhagavad
Mm.
Prasado. Only by the satisfaction of the spiritual master can the Supreme Personality of Godhead be satisfied. And if we are not able to satisfy the spiritual master, then Srila Prabhupada says there is no chance of being promoted to the plane of Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
And we should meditate upon him and pray for his mercy at least 3 times a day. And in the last sentence, Srila Prabhupada says, one who is not fixed in mind, then if it's not fixed in mind, then we can get diverted by different types of fruitive actions. Yes, Mother, that's all.
Yeah, so it's this purport is flowing actually in step by step basically. So this point of getting out of bodily conception of life is very, very, very important. And then in the later part of the purport, Srila Prabhupada again writes that one has to have this knowledge of soul. And yesterday also we were discussing that when we act on the platform of the knowledge of the soul, knowledge of eternality, then we will not be having that bondage, right? So here also we are hearing that how will we have this resolute determination to engage in devotional service is unless and until we understand we are spirit, soul, not this body. I mean, at least theoretically, because in our sadhana stage, we can apply it at the theoretical level, and then as we apply, then Krishna reveals slowly, slowly, gradually, gradually, right? It depends on the perfect knowledge of the soul beyond conception of body, right? Not only theoretically, but practically, with no chance of sense gratification manifested in fruitive activity. So it's a practice, like we practice doing things for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So at that time, what happens is our that fruitive mentality will start loosening, which is right now binding us like a charcoal, right? If we stick our foot on the charcoal, we can never get rid of it. So it's like that. But when we engage, when we somehow conscientiously do it for pleasure of Krishna, then we will actually start getting release from this fruitive mentality. Yeah. And understanding that Krishna is the cause of all causes. Yeah. And Krishna gives this analogy of watering the root of the tree. Hmm. So one more thing I want to say here. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Yeah, very, very important point. This verse is very, very, very important because Srila Prabhupada, when he was given an instruction by his spiritual master, um, when he was first time he met Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his spiritual master, to go to West and preach in English. But Srila Prabhupada at that time, his circumstances were not that favorable for him because he was young, he had family, he had business. So, but then slowly, gradually, as he became Vanprastha, and then he started some that what is that League of Devotees in Jhansi. It didn't work. Then he came back to Vrindavan. He started Back to Godhead magazine. But things were not running so favorably. And then Srila Prabhupada read the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur on this verse that I am going to read now. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the best kind of intelligence I can have is intelligence used in the service of Krishna. The intelligence is defined as fixed when it is intent upon my spiritual master's instruction, such as chanting the names of Krishna, remembering his activities, and performing service to his lotus feet. His instructions are my sadhana and my life, both in the beginning stages of bhakti as well as in bhakti's perfectional stage. I desire only to follow his instructions. I accept nothing else as my life's work, even in dreams. Whether I am happy or distressed, whether the material world remains or is destroyed, I do not care. There is no loss for me. I simply must carry out the orders of my spiritual master. Fixedness upon his orders is determined intelligence in devotional service, and only by being fixed in his orders, such determined intelligence is possible. So that resolute intelligence, resolute determination will come when we are trying to follow the instructions of the spiritual master, right? And then in his prayers that we every day morning recite, uh, Guru Ashtaka, Yasya Prasadat, Bhagavat Prasado, Yasya Aprasada, Nagati Kutopi, Dhyayan Stumam, Stasya Yashastra Sandhyam, Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. So we cannot actually. So basically, that intelligence will be sharpened and it will act appropriately when we follow the instructions of spiritual master and also study the scriptures. That sharpens our spiritual intelligence. So that is what Vishnu and yeah. So Srila Prabhupada read this purport, and then he decided to come to West. So we and I'm going to read from a lecture that Srila Prabhupada gave in DC in 1976, 10th anniversary of ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada was discussing love. Love is the basis of activity. If we love someone, naturally we want to do something for them. In material life, we also perform our work on the basis of love of family, friends, and others. But we are always disappointed in that love. In love for Krishna, though, we are never let down. Either way, the symptom of love is activity. Srila Prabhupada gave two examples to show this principle. Sanatan Goswami said, I know it is by your mercy I have been able to give up Maya. So now tell me, what is my duty? This is how a devotee sees things. Not that now I am free from family life, I have no responsibility. Now I will just eat prasadam and sleep. No, you must be 100 times more active in spiritual life than in your material life. Of course, it is not pride. But look at the example of my life. I was retired in Vrindavan, and at 70 years old, I thought that should I do now? What should I do now? My friend said, this man is going away to die. I said, never mind, death will come. Nobody did it, so let me try. Activity is a symptom of love. So this activity must be there. It does not matter what age you are, young or old. You must execute the order of the Supreme Lord, Lord Chaitanya, and your Guru. That is the real test of devotional service, to take responsibility and carry out your duty to the best of your ability. In Washington, D.C., 76, 10th anniversary of ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada spoke this. All right, any quickly? I know I took so much time. Sorry, dear devotees.
Mataji, can you share that commentary from Vishwanath
Yes,
Chakravarti
I,
Thakur?
I will share. Yeah, I'll
Thank
take
you.
picture from my book and share.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll share. I'll share the lecture part also.
I was
Thank
just
you.
thinking how these disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they also took this order of this spiritual master to heart. So every one of them is just unbelievable.
Everyone.
Every one.
Yeah.
Just,
At this, yes, Prabhu. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm saying they totally surrendered. Like they came from, some of them came from very rich families, and they surrendered everything, gave up all the money. They basically totally gave up all materialistic life, and they completely surrendered Srila Prabhupada and just carry out his order.
Mhm.
So
We
that
owe
is
them
what
many, many lifetimes.
yeah, they just want to please Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's so they just surrendered completely, actually, completely,
They completely surrendered.
completely. Now in their old age, it's so hard for them
Yeah,
to
they continue.
make the
They still
living.
they're continuing.
Yeah, I wish we can do something.
They started by giving up everything. That is, they gave up all money, connections, everything. That was the first thing they did
Everything,
to Srila Prabhupada. And
everything, everything.
everything.
They let
I,
their
I
children go on Sankirtan.
yeah, and they gave up everything.
Mm.
And they like Jayananda Prabhu. He used to work
Mm.
day and night driving a taxi, just supporting the temple. I know
Yeah.
my Guru Maharaj used to sweep floors in the restaurant. So all these devotees, they book distribution. And guess what? They did not take a dime for themselves. All they did was have prasad and sleep in the
Mm.
temple or the rooms, all cramped.
Mm.
It was not like they were having a good lifestyle. They were all cramped. But
Yeah.
every dime came to go in building the temple. It was
Yeah.
just unbelievable.
Yeah. My Guru Maharaj tells they would sleep in the van, where it is books like on top of the books. The books were kind of their beds.
Yes,
And
like
they
this,
will
every one of them.
take shower in a public bathroom or something,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
again
yeah.
go for Sankirtan.
That is the story of all of them. This is
Yeah.
yeah, it's how they just yeah, it's just I can.
Yeah.
I
And I
mean,
think
love here for sure.
they didn't think too much, and they just dedicated their lives. Just they were like 19, 20-year-old
Yeah,
boys and girls
and
actually.
and that time, and the thing was they were new, so they were not completely versed in the knowledge of the Bhagavatam, the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, but they were completely
Actually,
dedicated to the spiritual master.
it's the love
Yeah,
that
the love for Srila Prabhupada.
they just Srila Prabhupada's love melted their hearts
Exactly.
completely. Like
I,
they were
it's
ready to give everything. Yeah. Srila
that
Prabhupada's
means
love. Just
I,
Srila
that,
Prabhupada's love.
that incident in India, when Srila Prabhupada was traveling by train, then and one stopped somewhere in the middle of nowhere. He told the disciples to get off in Status Center, and they just got off. They got off they got off
Yeah.
the train.
And Mother Yamuna and one more, yeah, I think Mother Yamuna and Malati Mataji, they were ready to jump off the train if
Yeah,
the train person won't allow them to make rice for Srila
right.
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada. Yeah, yeah.
They were ready to jump off the train.
Right. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
I mean,
we have
how
hard
much
time.
love?
We have hard time. We grew up in India. We were raised in India. We have hard time to go to visit India and stay in the summer. And these people, Srila
Yeah,
Prabhupada's disciples, followers, they lived in America in opulence, and
yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
went through such austerities like living in mud, taking bath
I
in
know,
the mud in open. My
I know,
goodness, oh my God, I cannot believe
I
like
know, I know,
this
I know.
is way.
My Guru Maharaj used to say they used to sleep in the fields.
Yeah,
Mayapur, the temple was not there, so they just used to sleep in the field. And then the snakes and mosquitoes but just the love for Srila
yeah.
Prabhupada is just
And in that, when they were doing the Juhu temple, they were living in some basement or something, and the rats and all that would come. And remember that in Lilamrita it's mentioned.
also just it's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Actually, I mean, this if we keep in our minds their sacrifices and their devotion, dedication to Srila Prabhupada, I think that can keep us going in bhakti. Otherwise, we will not be able to go
Yeah, yeah.
further. Yeah, I think time to time we should remind ourselves of where is it coming from. This whole ISKCON big house, like such big in Delhi, 18 temples, and few more are coming up by the grace of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. 18 temples in Delhi only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watching
And
that video,
Yes, Prabhu.
watching that video yesterday, Maharaj Samadhi, so that I come to know about there are 18 temples.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and there are few more coming up actually.
Oh,
That
really
these
important.
projects are not yet complete. Yeah, they are in progress.
It's highest of any city in India.
Mm-hmm.
No other city is that
Yeah,
many.
because of its importance, and it says that when there are festivals or something, 100,000 people come in east of Kailash temple.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the world class something like there is a whole book for the temple actually. His Holiness Gopal Krishna. The architect actually, let me tell you, I know it's time, but just in quickly 1 minute. So this architect is the biggest famous architect, and Maharaj wanted this architect to build this temple, meaning to design this temple, and it was hard to approach him. So what Maharaj did, he packed Bhagavatam set, he ribboned it and all that, and he went with his disciples to his home. And he made that architect to open that, like cut the ribbon. And by that time, his wife and son also came. And then Maharaj told a little bit about Bhagavatam. And then just in few minutes, this architect said, I have done a lot of projects in my life to earn money. This one I will do. This is my best, this will be my best service for God, and I will do it for free.
Wow, Haribol. Which temple is it,
Yes,
Mataji?
east of Kailash, Delhi, the biggest temple in Delhi, east of
Oh,
Kailash.
it's called East.
East of Kailash, South Delhi में है प्रभु.
Oh, okay. So उसका नाम ही है East of Kailash temple?
Radha Partha
Yeah, yeah, the
Sarthi,
Radha Parsat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that's the
Partha
temple. Yeah,
temple, yeah,
that's
that.
where that's the place they also have the 800-pound Bhagavad Gita, right? The big.
Yes, that one. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I think it's too much, 8:52. Thank you, dear devotees, and please forgive me for going over time. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
की
All
जय
glories to all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kaltarupesya,
गुरुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
Ananta Koti Vaishnav
अनकोटि
वैष्णववृंद
वैष्णव
की
वृंद
जय
की
Hari
जय
Bol.
हरि
हरि बोल
बोल थैंक यू माता जी
हरि बोल
थैंक यू
Thank
डिवोटी
you, Mataji.
थैंक यू
Thank you,
प्रणाम
devotee.
हरे
Thank you,
कृष्णा
devotee.
Hare Krishna.